Hello, it's Ed Ewing from Cross Country Magazine here. We're here at AirDesign in Austria with Stephan Stiegler. Thank you for having us. We're here to talk about the Rise 4. So what have you got here behind us?
Thanks for having me here. Here we see the brand new Soar. The Soar is the lightweight version from the Rise 4. Both gliders came out now really close together. And it's our latest high-end E&B wing. That is focusing on top performance, but also, we are really known for having very gliders with comfort. You think about performance and comfort is not really matching but we all our products are going into this, and also the Rise 4 is following this line. So the Rise 4 is a very nice glider, very balanced, top performing. The handling, we were able to improve the handling a little bit. We're giving more floating ability, speed, stability, so everything what is important for high E and B wing. So for cross country, whatever, but not only for cross country, for performance. It's everyday glider, so it gives you many options. And as offering two versions with the standard version, actually the Rise 4 is already light, we would say. We call it Duralight. And in addition, we have the super light version, which is then the Soar. And the difference is the material mix. Like, for example, you see this, the Soar has then the Dyneema risers, and the Rise has the aramid risers. So, but you can mix them also as well.
In the Rise 2, you had a super light version. The Rise 3, you just had the Rise 3, and now you've gone back to having the Rise 4 and the light version, which is the Soar. So why have you done that? Why have you gone back to having the two versions?
Yeah, on the Rise 3 we decided to go on one version. We decided to go a lightweight construction with a mixture of materials with light and durable. So the whole package was light already, and the Rise 4 is coming with the same material conception. So the glider is light, but we saw the option we can make it lighter, and also there were always a little bit a demand for having it lighter. And we were listening to this, and we were trying to see what is possible, actually. Yeah? And the Soar is around 800 grams lighter than the light version already from the Rise 4. So, yeah, I think we can offer this both worlds now, really.
So how many sizes do both gliders come in?
Well, starting from the double XS size, starting from 50 kilograms, so we have a really small surface on the XX size. It's really famous. We're one of the only brands offering real small gliders, even in this performance category. And it goes up to 125 kilos with the large one, so offering everything in between.
Why are you one of the only manufacturers that makes an XXS glider, do you think?
Well, it's quite a funny story. I had a girlfriend which was really light. Okay. And actually, it started really making a glider for her, and we saw, it's really working and it's possible. But it's not only making a glider. It has to work. It has to fly properly, like all the other sizes, and perform, and to be at the same level of safety and everything. So when you have the chance to have somebody who can practically fly it and test it, then you see the result, and then you see, okay, there is a demand for that, and then we go for this. Yeah, and meanwhile, it's like we're selling sometimes more XXS than XS or large gliders.
Tell me a little bit about the handling of the wing. What can we expect?
Well, the Rise 3 is said to have a really precision handling. It's like you pull, and it really follows your input quite instantly, and you have always the command and the control. But the difference to the Rise 4 is like the Rise 3 enters, follows, and then it carves a little bit more. Yeah? And the Rise 4, we changed that behavior a little bit. We used the brake pressure just a little bit, and now the entering is the same, is similar, so it reacts and has the agility and the precision. But at the same time, the glider gives you more floating feeling. You know, when it's lifting, it's not like a little bit less carving, but more floating. So you feel more that you're in the core of the thermal. Yeah, and that's always also the reason why we call it the thermal monkey, because it really climbs very well, and it's like a monkey circles up here. Also, the weeks before, we gave the glider out already for pre-testing before we officially released, and the feedback was just, you could say, everybody told us the same. Mm-hmm. It's a nice, very, very balanced glider, easy to fly, easy launching, top performing. Well, we were really surprised that the performance increased, like remarkable. Mm-hmm. Normally I make a new prototype in the development. Of course I have my ideas how to improve the performance model by model, and then the first time I get the glider, you fly and I think, feels quite good. Yeah, so we have this we had a little wow effect, like saying, oh yeah, let's start comparing, let's check it out, and then really, wow, yeah, there is a remarkable improvement on this wing. So.
Can you tell me a little bit about how much testing actually goes into it when you're developing, when you're going from the Rise 3 to the Rise 4? When does that process actually start? Because the life cycle of a wing is sort of 3 years now, I guess. So when did you start working on the Rise 4?
Well, actually it never stops. That's the thing. When the model is finished, I would have already new ideas to improve it. So but you have to come to a point where you say, now it's finished, okay, because it works, But testing and development, I'm working between 3-5 different projects, different categories of the glider, and you have an invention on one glider, then it runs into the next project. So it's never a matter of E and B, D, A, whatever wing. It's a constant process, which is involving all the projects, all the different gliders. And in addition to the certification process, we are testing as well a kind of stupid maneuvers. We have our own lineup of internal maneuvers where we test even beyond the certification. It's like, for example, we're doing a full stall or a deep stall and then try to release the glider in an awkward situation or in a stupid situation just to see what will happen afterwards. So it's quite a long process. And at the end, everything should be fine and should be perfect. The aspect ratio, I think, is a touch less, but almost more or less the same. We have this winglet design, and the winglet itself gives a little bit more aspect ratio. So in the air, the projected aspect ratio is not much different. But the wing shape is different. So this is one of the main points, I would say, inside the development, that the distribution of lift over the glider over the surface is now a bit different. So this was it's been one of the points where to optimize one or the other feature of the glider.
Can you tell us a bit more about the winglets?
Well, what it does really is like it makes more aspect ratio because you have an extension on the glider. So that's why on the paper the gliders have more aspect ratio, and it's supposed to move the drag from the wing a little bit further off. So that's the point, that it increases performance. What we found out as well, what is a second thing is, a glider nowadays it should have a certain instability in rolling. You need a certain instability in rolling to enter the thermals, to have a certain handling characteristic on the glider. But on the other hand, the glider should fly straight as well. So it's very hard to balance these two criteria, these two features to make it work. And the winglet, on one hand, stabilizes a little bit on a straight flight, makes it more straight, but it doesn't avoid it from the rolling itself is there to have the handling options. But in straight flight, it makes the glider flying straight. So this is the riser system from the Rise and also from the Soar. On the previous model, we also only had the C control, so that means you were just affecting the C. And here on the new system, you're now able to have a full functional BC control. So what happens if you pull down like this? You're also affecting the B riser. So that gives you the full control. Even when flying fully accelerated, you can stabilize your glider. If you used only the C control in full speed, you would just create more chamber in the glider, in the profile, and therefore the glider tends to collapse. So we're not suggesting using C control in full speed, and that's why the BC control comes into work. Yeah, actually you de-trimming the whole canopy, the whole profile. You see it when the B comes down, the C comes down. It's just like trimming it back to even to negative. Now, when the glider is like this, so normally it flies a bit like this, and then you accelerate. And with the PC control, you just bring the glider back down. You know, when you're flying into turbulences, and you, oh, this get a bit nasty now. I should go release the accelerator. No, I can pull the PC control.
Let's look at the differences, because one of the big obvious differences is the risers. And if you're making the decision as a pilot whether to go with the Soar or the Rise 4, these skinny risers on the Soar, they look pretty cool. Tell us about those.
The function from the Soar and the Rise is 100% the same. It's the same dimension, same length, same system. Only the materials are different. We have this from Edelrid, the Taurus line, which we tested for some long time to have the consistency in the length and everything. And yeah, we saved some weight, and it looks very, very skinny and nice. If you're not familiar, don't want to handle this kind of riser, you also can mount the standard riser on the Soar, because both versions are certified, so we can switch in between. The lines anyway are the same on two versions. We can't reduce them anymore. There's also a little difference. On the standard riser we have the standard handle, which is with thick foam padding, and for the lightweight we added as well a lightweight handle, which is also comfortable. We're giving it a certain width that it's not pressing your arm and avoiding the blood circulation.
Cool.
So we were thinking about the details. The Rise 4 comes on the top surface with Domenico D20 material. The lower surface is Skytex 27 double-sided coated, and the rib material is a 32-gram rib material, also from Domenico. And the Soar has got completely 27 grams Skytex double coated, so we only use the double coated version because from a porosity we are 100% satisfied with this material. And as well, in the leading edge, the rods inside the Rise 4 has got nylon rods inside, and the Soar has got nitinol wires inside, so we save a little bit of weight also on the wire section.
And I guess finally, have we got anything else, any updates coming for later in the year on your gliders? I know you're always working on stuff. Any secrets you're working on?
Sure, there are certain projects which we are aiming to finish this year. The long-awaited UFO 2, for example, but this is it's not a secret.
Okay.
I would say, well, it will come when it's finished, and
Excellent.
And even more, I would say.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you and goodbye from Austria.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.